What's up, guys? It's me, Do Not Obey, and let's get into another video. Now we're in chapter 4 of The Navigator Who Crossed the Ice Walls. I'm reading some of the book and I'm using notes in between so I do not get copyright, okay? So let's get into chapter 4, The War Behind the Walls. When we were all in silence, waiting for the words of the captain, who was going to tell us something that seemed to be unique, a colossal-sized craft loomed and seemed to be coming straight at us. One of the boys went up to see what he could spot and shouted as he descended in a violent manner, "They are coming towards us. It's something gigantic." We all panicked, but Butler ordered to remain calm. Although he remained calm, he seemed a bit nervous compared to what we had been experiencing before. This made me more uneasy. Who would be coming towards us in this giant craft? As it got closer, we did not change the north course. We had a reddish color. As it got closer, we could see that it was more and more immense. I will not deny that I feared for my life and that of the team. I could not believe that we had just left the walls of the ice behind. Something was going to prevent us from continuing to investigate this unknown ocean. I also thought that we were the only ones who had come so far in these areas. We did not know exactly the depth of the ocean. Still looked dark. A deafening sound enveloped us. We could hardly stand it. It was a screeching sound, like some kind of horn. Then a voice with a perfect English accent came before us, saying the following: "Dear visitors from the walled lands, some of our men will come down and approach your boat. We will do you no harm. Please remain calm." Okay, so let's get into these notes. Now, Morris then felt that the message just stated sounded even more frightening. He was afraid the men would attack them, but it wasn't like they could escape anywhere. Plus, the ship was gigantic. Butler reassured them by telling them that he was aware something like this may happen. 3 men made their way onto the ship. They had on white suits with some type of emblems on them. Also, their craft had a blue flag with a white circle in the middle. One of the men introduced himself as captain. He asked, "What are we doing here?" Butler stated they were sailing around the Arctic Circle and a current had brought them through the other side, so they decided to investigate. Morris noticed as Butler was talking that he and the man had some type of, connection. The men did apologize for how they came off, and they also stated that it had been a long time since they had seen people crossing the walls, and they did not understand how people even did it. The man that approached the ship ended up giving them a map. This map was to a world or a place called the Safe Lands. The last sentence was not taken well by the group. Morse asked, "Safe lands, did you say? Are these lands unsafe?" The captain of the craft spoke and said, "The lands where you come from are quite unsafe as well. But don't worry, you will make it fine in this direction." Morris then asked, "Where do you come from?" All three men said, "The ancestral lands." And once they get there, all of their questions would be answered. Butler then regrouped the men because they were still fearful and in shock. Butler told them that the message was clear. They are going to the ancestral lands. They sailed for quite a while. Butler indicated that it was important to follow the map. Some of the men asked Butler, what was he going to tell them before the visit? Butler said that he wished not to continue the subject. Morris did not understand why Butler decided to change his mind. Now, let's get to the end of this bad boy. After what happened, I think we all have to open our eyes. Fortunately, we can heed to safe lands. I think we would not have had the same luck if it was another boat that visited us. Let's remember that there are people we left behind, very powerful people who do not want us sailing those waters or knowing all of this. Let's aim to reach those lands as soon as possible. Once we're there, they'll explain the situation more fully. It's complex, but I'm glad we've crossed the walls. The journey has only just begun, comrades. It's time to realize we're in a war zone, undertaking something unique. The last sentence left us speechless. We all asked in unison, what do you mean in a war zone? War zone, what kind of war? What kind of war? What kind of war? All the questions were directed at the captain, who answered them all by saying, comrades, pay attention and let's get to these lands. Indicated. Everything will become clear as soon as we anchor. The temperature had changed quite a bit as we moved away from the walls. In about 30 days now, with the temperature climate as indicated, we would be close to these lands. Birds of various types began to be spotted, and vegetation on the waters that were now clearer. I had an inner feeling that we were making history, forgetting a little the captain's phrase that we were in a war zone without knowing it. In that case, I would like to know who was the enemy. All right, y'all. Well, that is the end of chapter 4. Of course, we'll be getting into chapter 5. And chapter 5, I haven't read it. It looks really good. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I hope you are enjoying the book. I love this book. And like I always say, do not obey. Stay woke. Peace.